It's time for Talkin Tauntauns, your Star Wars source at AIPTcomics.com.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Talkin Tauntauns. I am Jim Lahane, and with me, as usual, is Nicole Herview.
It's me. I'm here. Hello.
And with us, very special guest, fellow Star Wars podcaster, Mark Perez.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mark, brave the doldrums of early mornings to join us.
I have coffee in hand. I'm good.
Bless.
That's all you need is coffee or some variety of stimulant.
Just give it to me in an IV.
Yeah, right there. Exactly. I think that's the best way, honestly. Just, have the little bag with you and just walk around,
Yes.
do what you need to until you can unplug. So.
Yeah, exactly. Just directly into the bloodstream. Thank you.
That's why I drink my tea like a proper British citizen. I don't know. I'm not
Sure.
British.
I mean, listen, I went
Yeah.
over there. I'm a tea drinker as well. So they adopted me. I work for a British company, Mark. And I went over
nice.
there.
Yeah.
It is nice. I went
Yeah.
over there and met my team and all that stuff, whatever, after 5 years. And they knew I drink tea every morning, whatever. And then they watched me make tea. And they were like, go home right now.
Appalled.
I was like, what? They were like, you put
She was
sugar
immediately
in it?
fired.
I was like, whoa, chill, y'all. Like, listen.
There was an intervention shortly afterwards.
They were very upset with me. I was like, would you like to do this? Like, would you like to? Whatever. No, they were
She
very
was
sweet
thrown
about it,
in
but
the
they
street,
gave me
shunned,
they gave me
out of the
crap.
country.
They gave me crap for about 2 seconds, and then they were like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they moved on.
So you're American. Well,
But I'm still thinking about it. Yeah.
I love some good tea,
literally,
though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Good
I
stuff.
do love some good tea.
I brought a lot of tea home. Like, a
Good,
lot.
good. Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah.
That's
it's cool.
Since we're talking tea, I love tea. For anyone who's seen Firefly, the TV series,
Yeah.
Jewel State, who was I don't even remember her character's name, Kaylee. She actually runs a online tea company. And,
Really?
That's cool.
I followed her for a while, and then she's like, we're starting up this tea company. And so I was literally like, I signed on the tea company before they ever even started. It's called Tea Runners. And every month, it's a monthly subscription service. They'll send you 4 teas. You can kind of pick what you want. I still go with the original, which is like 3 caffeinated, 1 decaf. And it's like a wide selection, like every different type of tea. They get them from around the world. And so you'll get like some Chinese green tea, like from China. And like you'll get like the English black tea, and so it's
Yes.
it's really a lot of fun, and kind of like has widened my tea palette because I get like a ton of different types of teas, and I really do enjoy them, most of them. There's a couple
fun.
that you drink and you go, yeah, that's just not for me.
Yeah.
So here, that was a good sponsor spot. So if you're listening, Miss Jewel,
Yeah.
talk to these folks. Come on.
That'd be lovely.
I did. So I had. They're like every once in a while. They're like, show us your teacup, and like include the Tea Runners packages in it. And so I did one,
Yeah.
and Jewel retweeted me, and that was my claim
that's
to
so
fame.
cool.
Highlight.
Shiny.
You print that out.
Shiny, some might say.
Very cool.
So Mark, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm looking forward to today. Got some stuff going on later today with some friends. We're gonna go see this drag parody of Scream that's happening this evening. So I cannot wait to see this. Right, my friend Manny's in it too, so it'll be great. He's playing the David Arquette character. So yeah,
Yes.
Dewey. So
Okay.
it's gonna be really, really fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that for you. My goodness. Scream is the best. Like, why is that just like the best franchise? That's the one. Like, geez.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome. You're gonna have so much fun. Oh, cool.
That's it. Nicole is a Halloween girl.
You can't tell.
I had no idea. I couldn't
Right.
tell. Couldn't
I
tell.
don't exude that at all. Yeah, I'm pretty excited right now.
That's awesome. I love it. I love when people enjoy this time of year and they like, like I have friends online that like they were ready to like start decorating in October. They're showing their process and how they get their house ready and everything. And it gets me in the mood, because you love the colors of this time of the year and everything. Like I said, for me, Halloween sets the mood for what happens to the rest of the year.
Yes. Big agree. Big agree.
So,
Let's kick off to some good stuff.
how are you doing, Nicole, on
I'm good.
the eve of the big event?
Yeah, we're getting there, man. I'm excited. I have a Halloween party tonight. I'm very amped.
Yeah.
I took Monday off because my company gives us a floating holiday, so of course.
Very nice.
We gotta celebrate Samhain properly, So yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be a good weekend, and yeah, I'm just feeling it right now, and it's like cold and a little gloomy out right now, and I'm like, perfect. Don't change. Don't.
Do you have your
stop.
costume ready?
I do. Yeah, I kept it actually simple this year.
Okay.
I'm just being a bat. I was like, that's it.
There you go. Like,
Yeah.
what we do in the shadows, just say bat, and then it happens. So-
Absolutely. Do like Matt Berry imitation. Be like, bat. That's it. That's it. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was gonna be all comfy and stuff, and I just got like boots and leggings and a big like bat hoodie, like with wings and like the ears on the hood, like whatever. And then I was like, I need fangs, so I bought fangs because I can't do anything half-assed. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I have fangs now. So I was like, all right. I tried to be all cute and like simple, and then I was like, fangs though.
Yeah. I'm going as a hobbit this year, so I have everything
Yes.
ready. I don't know about the wig, but I have a hood that I can put over it, so if I don't think the hair is working,
Yeah.
Put
Oh,
it
that'd
on.
be great.
yeah.
Like,
It'll
listen.
be a geeky hobbit, though, because I don't wear contacts, so the glasses have to stay on, which kind of kills it, but I'm just going to have to make it work.
Hobbits come in like a bunch of different like varieties. Like it's fine.
I
We
can
don't all need to
see-
be Frodo Baggins. Like it's okay.
Do you have?
You know?
Like, I could see like spectacles. If you had like a round type of
wish.
glasses.
I don't wear those anymore. Usually I get this shape now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a time when I wore more of those. Like, yeah, because you want kind of like that old timey feel to
Yeah,
it.
that's kind of what I would.
But unfortunately, and if I wear fake ones, then I'm just gonna bump into everything, and it won't
Yeah,
be
no,
pretty.
that sounds like a terrible idea.
I think seeing is key.
just a little important,
Especially enjoying things like usually, you want to be able to see them too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly, right? And then and the cool thing about it is how I justified putting the money into the costume is that I'm also going to use it to cosplay at a local convention in November. So I figured it's like this is a test run, right? And then I actually get to get like the last minute things. Like you said, the fangs and everything. Little things that you think of, like, oh, I got to get pointy ears. Or, I should get hair so I can put it on the sandals I'm going to wear so it covers the strap and it looks like I'm not wearing them. So
Oh, that's
so
good.
wise. That is so good. I'm stealing that. Thank you.
it'll be fun.
No, that's awesome. And like, hey, it's also good at like a Renaissance fair. Like it works. Like,
There you go.
It's very,
Give
very
me-
adaptable.
Give me the turkey legs that you get at the Renaissance fairs.
Yes. I
So
love that.
For I had mentioned last week that I was building the towers, the
Yes.
gateway for the Jurassic Park for my my wife's trunk or treat. So
Came out
we,
great.
Oh my god.
we did the trunk or treat last night. After I got my COVID shot, the booster on Friday, my wife calls me. She's a pediatrician, and so they're like, they're gonna throw these out. Do you want to get your booster? Because otherwise it's just going to go to waste. And I'm like, yeah, I've been trying to get the booster, but I haven't been able to. They kept telling me, no, I'm not eligible. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure I am.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay. I'm like, well, let's get this Friday night. And so like all day yesterday, I've been kind of like cranky because I'm in the COVID, like the COVID booster, like kind of doldrums. But we set up the Jurassic Park tower. I built the tower. My wife painted it and kind of got a ton of ferns and plants to go in front of it. And it turned out like really awesome. My wife had gotten me the inflatable T-Rex, the joke T-Rex costumes that you see. She got me that for my birthday, which was March. So it's like people are like, "Did you get that just for this?" Like, no, we own that. I got that for my birthday. And so I dressed up as the inflatable T-Rex, and the kids absolutely loved it because it turned out really good. Like if you
It
go
did.
on if you go onto social media, I have a fantastic picture that I took with we had tiki torches in the front of the tower, and it looked really good.
Well
So
done.
you really need to take a photo. Oh, well, somebody needs to take the photo from the advantage point of being in like the passenger seat and seeing like the must-see, the things look larger in the mirror on the side view mirror of a car with you in the background. Because I think that would make a great picture for it.
That would be funny. I didn't even thought of that.
That's the best.
You gotta remember it, right? I love that. I love that. It's just funny. I have a friend who's like super into dinosaurs too. He would appreciate this whole conversation. So.
Yeah. That's so good. Oh my goodness, Jim, you got to do that. If you don't, I'm gonna be mad forever.
That may happen now. I've never even thought of it, but that is absolutely perfect.
It must be done. Holy hell, that's funny.
All right, so this week we are going to be talking half of Tales of the Jedi, but since we have Mark you on, not Mark you on. Mark you on. Since we have you on, Mark, there we go. There's a proper organization of English. As a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, I wanted to get your opinion on what Andor is doing, and really Star Wars as a whole. But Andor seems to be the most forefront with any representation. With Vel and Cinta, because it's clearly they're not hiding it, they're not being subtle about it, but still they're being subtle about it.
Yeah. It's interesting because, well, I'm obviously all for getting that type of representation. It's great to see it on screen. It's just still not enough, right? And I want to be able to appreciate it and not be cynical about it, but it's hard because while there is some affection there, it's just that hand holding. There's no actual holding or any type of affection. A kiss on the forehead, something, right?
A hug.
A little more.
Like,
a hug
like,
would be
literally,
right.
Even though a hug can go like easy, just, oh, they're friends, they hug.
Yeah.
Like at least a hug shows physical intimacy. Like
Yeah. And the thing about it is that they really could have spun it, because we are in this world. We are on the ground level. We are seeing how, there is oppression and what is and can be taken away from you so easily, one's freedom. They could have played into it saying that it's not allowed on their planet or whatever, however it's going to be or wherever it is that they're at, right? And then you put that into it, the reason why they're so not prone to show affection in public is part of that reason. I think that would have went a longer way as well too. It's like, if you're going to introduce this subject, then maybe show why you're holding back so much, right? Because everybody else is allowed to kiss and hug and whatever, right? But it's like any type of affection. It doesn't have to be like deep intimacy. Come on, it's like not like we watch Star Wars for sex. I mean, that's not what it's about. But it's just the fact that you.
I don't know what Star Wars you've been watching.
But absolutely. I want to see more already, and then this whole of like be patient, right? And I'm like, no, it's like look, it's
you don't need to be patient. Like
it's stupid.
We're beyond patience at this point.
Yeah, it's like just gimme,
do it.
Yeah.
Other shows have done a fantastic job of incorporating their characters in and how they're presented and everything, and it's all very natural and fluid. You don't.
That's what I like to bring up. I like to bring up Star Trek, because Star Trek is being like, we have non-binary characters, like fully open and out. Like the actor is non-binary, the character is non-binary. Like they're out there, and Star Wars is like, hold back a little. Like, no.
It really, if you want a template, it's around you. You don't have to do it exactly that way. But again, it's like, make it part of the story. Make it why. Maybe if you're apprehensive about putting this in the story, then why don't you incorporate that in a way that speaks volumes about us, the world we're in, why there's apprehension. There's so many ways you can spin it to make it clever. These folks are clever. We can obviously see with the dialogue, the script, and the way that this show is being put together. There's so much more to it. And I think they should have put that type of, like, lead on that story. It would have been great to, like, present it in just the right way. And I think that would have spoken volumes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Andor is addressing so many things so directly and so beautifully and so brilliantly. Like the way that we're not talking about this episode today, but when we do, the fact that the last episode clearly addressed like the prison industrial complex and like that system and everything that's wrong with that, and not everything that's wrong with that, but you know what I mean? Like it's showing you like this is what it is, and this is not far from reality. And that was so poignant. Why couldn't you do the same thing? Like, why are you tiptoeing around something that is probably a much, excuse me, speak, Nicole, much less radical concept? Like, this is like, hello? Like, people exist, and you know what I mean? It's ridiculous to me that we're tiptoeing around people's identities and the way they live their lives and who they love and all of this. And then, like, there's some really intense commentary over there. What are you doing, man? Like, why not both?
Yeah.
Why not
absolutely.
both?
Right. They're not mutually exclusive. So
right. It's not let's pick an agenda item. I'm doing air quotes. Like, let's do that today. Like, no, just whatever.
Well, they already know they're going to get flack. They're going to get flack for whatever they do.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Just jump in.
Don't half-ass it. Don't half-ass it.
Like, they got flack for the Inquisitor being black. Like, it's like literally they're gonna get flack for anything they choose. Just do it and ignore it. Like,
yeah.
Like, people will find a way to complain. Let them. I don't care. Like, let us live, man. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, thank you for sharing your opinion on that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm thank you for asking. I mean, it is, like I said, it's so it is frustrating, and at the same time, I welcome it. But it's like trying to just be open to what we're being presented with is great, but it's like, let's get a move on already, guys. It's like, come on. Yeah. I think we're way past this.
Agree.
So, yeah, thank you so much. Like, I had asked you before, I want to make it clear. I asked you before the show that I wasn't throwing this at you because you were a member of the community. But I seriously, I wanted your opinion on it because, like, me saying something as a straight white guy literally does it. Like, I'm 100% an ally, but it doesn't have the same weight as someone who's actually in the community, because I don't live with that. I don't have to like deal with the oppression that everybody else feels, and so I understand with the hearing your own voices out there matters. What's the representation matters? That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as a card-carrying member,
really. I didn't know they sent out cards.
There was a membership kit. There was an orientation. I mean, all of it. It just, yeah.
Lovely. Great. Listen.
I knew it.
Y'all have your shit
together. Just knew it.
I just swore, Jim. I'm sorry. But you have your stuff together, clearly. My God, man.
All right. I think it's time for us to move on to the topic of the day. We're not talking all of Tales of the Jedi, because I think when we had talked about Visions, I feel like we kind of did it a disservice a little by trying to talk about the entire series as once. And so Nicole and I agreed that even before it came out, we knew it was going to be 6 episodes, and we're like, why don't we chop it up and break it into 2 different episodes to talk about? And so right now we're only going to be talking about the Dooku episodes, which are episodes 2, 3, and 4, which is a very weird subdivision, but I have thoughts on that.
I think it's because it's in chronological order.
I don't
think about that. Is it kind of is, isn't it? The way they jump around.
Order.
So it's a good bookend, the way that they're put together.
Maybe. I was thinking because episode 1 is the Ahsoka is essentially born. She's a baby episode. That's what we saw in Celebration.
Right.
It's true.
And so
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they put that one in the front because that's what we saw at Celebration. That was the kind of their mantelpiece, if you will. And then the Dooku episodes kind of got placed after that. But I guess I don't know if it would be chronological.
Yeah,
it's
because
not.
like around the same time, they could have easily happened that Qui-Gon was an apprentice. Because how old is Ahsoka when we see her? Like when it's the Phantom Menace. How like is Ahsoka even born yet?
She is. So I remember when we talked about it. She is 14 in the Clone Wars, which would make her. Yes, she would be born in the Phantom Menace. But she would be only about 4 years old in the Phantom Menace. So this has to the two Dooku episodes have to take place before she's born.
Interesting.
Because
you're right, I guess they
he mentored Obi-Wan, and so Dooku's like essentially like a kid, in the first one at least.
Okay. All right. Then you're right.
No,
I just
somebody-
took it as it felt like chronological order, but you're right. The timeline's all over the place, I guess.
Yeah, somebody pushed
I can't
back.
get it
I had
straight.
mentioned this online on Facebook, and they're like, "No, they have to have the order already planned before like anything at Celebration, and they wouldn't have done that like maybe."
No, they don't. This is Star Wars. We never have an order plan. Come on.
Oh yeah. I'm like that. I'm like you
Planning?
don't have.
What's planning? What's an
could-
outline?
We live for
Especially-
the chaos within Star Wars, okay?
Yes.
Yeah,
you're
especially
right.
since
You're
like
right.
as we have now clarified, it's not chronological order. They could have put that like they could literally have just moved the episodes. Like how much planning in Disney Plus does it take to move an episode? It's not like they're reliant
Yeah.
on each other.
Right.
No,
Right.
but I do think also it was a better intro to the whole series than the first Dooku episode, but
Absolutely.
different.
I totally agree. I think the birth of Ahsoka is just the good entryway, right? And even if this is your first time watching it, it's hard not to already love that character or begin to love that character by way of seeing how they came into this world and how special they are. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I didn't watch it. I watched it at Celebration. I didn't watch it again yet.
Yeah.
So good.
I'll watch
So
it when we
good.
talk Ahsoka.
Different episode. Different episode. Yeah, I could talk about that for a very long time, so it is better that we wait. We're going to talk about
Yep.
Ahsoka forever.
All right.
but I
so looking at the Dooku episodes, our first episode focuses on basically Dooku doing things he's not supposed to, which is also the second episode of Dooku doing things he's not supposed to, which is also the third episode of Dooku doing things he's not supposed to.
Yeah. It's kind of a character trait, isn't it?
I'm
Yeah.
wondering how did he get so powerful, if, or how he get so much power in the Order if everybody's like, shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, he's goofing a lot. Like, what's he doing? What a guy. What a guy. I thought it was very interesting that we had, I'm going to say this one little baby criticism and then I'm going to shut up. Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon in the first episode, the first Dooku episode, has an English accent. And
Does he?
Yeah. It's not Irish at all. And
Which is
then,
weird because it's Liam Neeson's son.
And then it's Lee. Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
weird.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was going to look double check that. I'm like, I know somebody's son came in to do, and I thought it was Liam Neeson's. Yeah.
It's
Because
the
Liam
way he
Neeson
says
definitely came in
master.
to do the third episode.
Oh yeah. Oh Lord, yes. And I was like, ooh, chills. But yeah, it was yeah, he could easily have a different accent than his father, depending on where he grew up and all that stuff. But it's just funny
Which
that
we'll talk
is
about.
a completely different accent because I'm sitting there the way he says master. Like, listen to how he says master in that episode, and then how he says master in the Liam Neeson episode, and you're like, that's not the same man. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
right,
immediately like, and listen, accents adapt and change, but not that one. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's an interesting, it just took me out of it immediately. And whatever. It's an interesting casting choice. And
So,
it's great,
so in the first episode, or I guess episode 2, when I say the first episode, it's the first Dooku episode, called Justice. Qui-Gon was played by, I do not know how to pronounce his name. It's spelled Michael, but it has a little accent over the A. So it's like maybe Michelle.
could be Mikhail. It could be a lot
Mikhail, something like that, right? You know,
Well, I know, like
something interesting.
Yeah, my father had a good friend who was French, and so it was Michelle, even though it was spelled Michael.
Yeah.
So
because the way they say it too is like Michel, right? It's like it's got that sound
I like your
to
little
it, right?
You need to move when you speak in a French accent. You need to, yes.
So
just
I'm
comes
gonna
out.
go with Mikhail Richardson, and so
All right. And like other Qui-Gons, he has an English accent.
apparently not French.
Apparently, it sounded English to me. It certainly wasn't Irish.
So
That's
Vanessa Marshall
all
was
I know.
also in the episode
Oh,
as the village elder. I assume the one who basically kind of led them around.
yeah.
What a reasonable group of people.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I was rewatching it. I was like, why is everybody so reasonable on this planet? It's like,
Everyone's chill.
Yeah, it was like it was a very weird episode exactly for that reason. It's like the Jedi show up. It's like, yeah, we kidnapped him. It's like,
exactly.
oh, this is the kidnapper. It's like, we're all the kidnappers. Here, we'll show you where he is. And then like,
exactly.
and then like the senator comes in. It's like, she's very starving. Any of us would have done it. It's like, yeah, he's over there.
Yeah, and even the kid is like, yeah, I get why they did this. Like, this makes sense. Like, everyone's just like, yeah, seems right. And then the senator comes in and he's a walking sore and he just sucks. And you're like, yeah, someone shoot him. Let's go.
Well, I
Whatever.
hated Dooku in this because it's like he didn't need to let all the villagers. I don't think any of them died, but they definitely got
hurt.
shot.
They got hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, none of like you could have easily have overpowered the guards. You could have done something before they got like started shooting. You did nothing.
Yeah.
And
Like, yeah, just two very unreasonable people in this episode. And it's the senator and it's Dooku. And it's interesting. It's just interesting that those are our two, like, outliers. Whereas everyone else could have just sat and talked and, like, gotten stuff done. And it would have been lovely. And they would have had, like, dessert afterwards. You know, it would have been great. But no, Dooku and the senator guy have to go, like, ruin everyone's day. Which, you know, I guess is the point. That Dooku keeps, I'm skipping ahead a little bit, running into these senators who are just, like, totally disconnected from like their home planet and being very neglectful, and it's wild that these two episodes in a row kind of have the same thing going on. It shows like, yeah, that drive you nuts too, and that would completely like make you feel very at the very least disenchanted with the Republic, and it just like makes so much sense as to where Dooku ends up. But he's already being Dooku. He's already being a
absolutely.
jerk, you know?
he's having a pissing contest with the senator.
Yes. I'm wondering, because I didn't read the novel about Dooku, and I don't know all of his history, even though I've always found him a fascinating character. Correct me if I'm wrong, he is from the planet Serrano, right?
Yes.
Yes, but I'm wondering, was there anything that indicates, like, on his planet that would have informed the way he thinks now? Like, did he see some of this there? Because it seems like he obviously has a lot of shortcomings and makes bad decisions. At the same time, his heart is in the right place. He sees what's wrong, and it's starting to eat away at him. And so this is what we see play out in this. It's like he's had enough. He's tired of seeing this play out over and over again, right? And this is what's happening. It's coming out in this form to where he's acting out this way, you know? So it would be super interesting to even get even more backstory on him as to what led to him being this way already.
So the It was an audiobook first, or
That's
an audio
right, yeah.
drama, the
Yeah.
Jedi or Dooku Jedi Lost.
Oh, yes.
And we do get quite a bit of backstory on Dooku.
Okay. I need to get that now.
So,
I don't like. I'm going to say things wrong because I don't remember it 100%. But he basically, like the count thing, like clearly, like he can't let go of things like everybody else, like in the Jedi are supposed to, which is the reason he immediately
Interesting.
becomes a count when he leaves the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And I think, but you are right. We're seeing Dooku try to do the right thing. And he's seeing the Jedi Order is not doing the right thing. And so him doing the right thing kind of leads him down the wrong path because Palpatine is clearly doing the right thing.
For order.
wow. Yep.
And he signs on to Palpatine's agenda and he goes, you know what? I got your back. We'll take care of that little green friend.
Because it really is like, so who would think that such a little green being would be such a huge problem, right? You know?
I'm going to talk a lot about our friend Yaddle.
Yes.
But we'll get there. I love her. I love her. I love Bryce Dallas Howard. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she speaks like quote unquote normally, and that just
Well,
means
that's
that
I was
Yoda's
going
a
to bring
weirdo.
that up. I was going to bring that up
Yes.
because of you mentioned the accent. And
Yes.
like you don't need
Yes.
to you don't need to have the same accent as your parent because
Nope.
kids raised in different places will pick up different accents,
Exactly.
which makes sense.
Yeah. Her
It's
dad's
the-
from Milwaukee. I mean, you know, come on. Things happen. It's
And so it like people are like, "Will Grogu talk like Yoda?" And I'm like, "Speech patterns are not genetic."
Yeah, he's gonna definitely like talk like Mando.
right. There you go.
which you better talk like your dad. Have some respect.
Exactly.
That man could do no wrong. I swear to God. But anyway, yeah, I just found it very funny that it's like, oh, Yoda's just a unique fellow.
Yeah.
Got it.
Wherever
Yeah.
he's
That
like,
was
he
funny.
clearly comes from a different place than Yaddle. It could be like a
Sure.
different like town on whatever planet because
Could.
we know nothing.
Exactly.
We
You're
have
right.
3
You're right.
representations of their entire species. Like,
You're
Yeah.
not wrong. You're not wrong. I'm jumping
and-
to conclusions, but I think it's funny.
Yeah, I'll definitely bring it up a little more once we get there about the speech pattern and everything, because I think that's so interesting, but it also leaves the door wide open to a very interesting backstory as to how Yoda got there, right? So I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know everything. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll get there. I'm going to shut up. Dooku.
all right, so I'll jump over the second episode.
Great.
Or episode 3, choices. We bring in our old friend Mace Windu, who is not on the Jedi Council yet, but maybe knew about being asked to be on the Jedi Council. That's a question.
Questionable.
Yes. I mean, it literally sounds like they sent him there with the knowledge of, you do right on this mission and you might see yourself on the council.
But I also saw it as it could have been a test. Like the Jedi Council has a test. We have 2 people that we want to be on the council. We need to see how they do on this mission, and we'll pick one from that.
Interesting. And I could totally see that. That's exactly how they would do this sort of thing. Like, you know, the many tests that they put you on. Like, you don't know you're in a test until afterwards, and then, you know, you get the reveal, oh, you know, you passed, you know?
Very Jedi of them.
Very much so.
And very so.
And very much part of their undoing. As much as I may love them.
I'm right there with you. I have the same feelings.
They're manipulative. It's the entire thing is that they like to manipulate people, and I hear that it doesn't go well for them. For other people like to manipulate other things.
No, I think they'll be all right. You know, I have a feeling about them.
They'll be fine.
They're gonna be totally okay. Just, you know, whatever. I found it interesting, and I don't know if this is anything or if I'm just looking for stuff. But I found it interesting that our Jedi friends, Windu and Mace Windu and Count Dooku, eventually Count Dooku. I can't not call him Count Dooku. I'm sorry.
Right.
Because we don't have. I don't know if we've ever gotten a first name for him.
I don't know.
Even in the Dooku novel,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't.
He's
and
like
almost
Madonna.
don't. Yeah, I almost don't want to know because I mean, the last time we asked for our first name, we've got Sheev, and I don't know if I still sits well with me. So there's that.
Sheev. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, sounds like something
I
you
found
make
it
in prison.
interesting.
So no.
Yeah, yeah, like that's a noun. What?
And then he's been sheaved.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You got sheaved. These two, when they're looking for kind of like what the issue is, how this Jedi died, and they're looking into this whole situation, they're looking only at the senator and not the guards. And it's kind of how a lot of people in the Clone Wars and this, that, and the other, they kind of saw like the clones as like not really people, like not really there. Like we had like Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they like had relationships with the
Clones.
The clones, thank you. And obviously Ahsoka had a really close relationship with the clones. But then you have like other people kind of just seeing them as tools, like a means to an end. Like they're not even thinking about them. And I'm specifically thinking about the council. And then you see Mace Windu and Dooku kind of like overlooking the guards, which are like the clone like stand-ins almost. I thought that was very interesting. The parallels are there. I don't know how, like, it's fresh in my mind, so I haven't like fully drawn this thesis out, but like I was like, there's something there. I don't know how much is there, but something is there. You know what I mean?
Our friend Raven last week said it very well, is most people ignore the help.
Yes.
There's that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very succinct way of saying exactly what I'm saying. Thank you. This is why I need an editor.
To follow you around.
Yeah, at all times.
You know
At
what
all
would have been a
times.
better way to say what you said?
Thanks, Jim. Yeah. Listen.
I'll mansplain you anytime. Don't worry.
Well, the difference is that was actually helpful.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, I found that senator was scared as hell. He was just
Seemed like I guess he knew he was one of those the prisoner complex where the person holding the prisoners. Why can't
Was
I
it
not think?
was that Munchausen's? What is it like? I forgot what it's called. No, it's not that. No, what
it's
is
not that, but
No, what
it is that thing that like you look like you're in charge, but you're not. You're being held prisoner. Is that what you're
Yes,
talking about?
yeah, exactly.
What is that? I don't know why I went with Munchausen first, but anyway,
So yeah, that like
whatever that word is.
that just kind of clicked into my head right now. It's like, oh yeah, he was scared the whole time, and it makes sense going back on it. Like, oh, okay, I guess that whole plot line did make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also
yeah.
the pride of the Jedi to assume that he's nervous because he's talking to them. And they're like, he's hiding something. And he is, but like, that's
It's
not
not what you think.
exactly
No,
what's happening.
No, yeah.
It's just showing a lot in this episode, pretty subtly, of the things that like are true about the Jedi Order that are reasons for Dooku to leave. And it was really well done, and I like to use the word finesse a lot, and I thought there was a lot of that in this episode. Just like subtlety, and like it's there. It seems simple. This whole episode seems simple. It's not. And yeah, I found that very, very interesting. 15 minutes. You can do a lot in 15 minutes, apparently.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, it's insane. It's insane. Like I loved just seeing Dooku and Mace on a mission together, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're out there to do what they're supposed to do in this galaxy. And the fact that you see Dooku's frustrations and how he may respect Mace and everything, but he tells him, he goes, I do love how you handle things, but at the same time, it's so frustrating to see how much you're a stickler for these rules, right? You don't allow any room for change at all. It's like it's very rigid. And that's where a lot of the problems come in, right? Because there's very much, you can see how the way that he has been living his life and the way he sees this and the bigger picture and everything informs the way Qui-Gon also takes it. But he doesn't take it to the same extremes, right? But I also found how much there is a parallel between Anakin and Dooku. They were so much more alike than they care to admit, right? With the extremes that they would take, the chances that they would take, and how, they ended up, those things end up being part of what it makes it so easy for them to be manipulated by Palpatine. So I found it also interesting because there's so many things that I get why Dooku's like this now, but I just, I don't exactly agree with how he carried it out.
I liked, kind of piggybacking on what you said, I think this is the first time we've seen Mace not on the Jedi Council. And
That's true.
So-
Yeah.
we get him kind of as a peer on peer between him and Dooku. And so you don't see Mace he kind of gets it like a haughty, like I'm in charge of things, like you need to listen to me. And here it's more of a, like, what way will this work sort of dynamic between the two. And I really appreciated that is kind of not bring him down a few notches, but we see him down a few notches before he kind of gets elevated up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also interesting. We're so used to just being like, yeah, Mace is on the council, that they literally had to like shoehorn in this not subtle line at all. That was like, Dooku, we're not on the Jedi Council. Wink at the audience. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay. Thank you for staring into my soul, Mace Windu. What the heck? But they needed to do that, or else we would have assumed he's on the council.
We needed a timeline reference, and we needed a context reference.
Yeah. It's that was definitely a tell, don't show moment. I was like, whoa, buddy. Okay, but listen.
I can't think of any other way they would do it. It's like not like they wear Jedi Council rings. It's like, it would look really good right here. That Jedi Council ring.
There you go.
When I win the Super Bowl.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like whatever. The big, sure, it was an interesting moment. I don't know that I could have done better, so it is what it is.
And that's
very
why
funny, though.
There's a reason why people get paid to do this, and it's not me. It doesn't mean that they always make the best decisions.
Yeah. Yeah,
you almost have to think about this as well too, because obviously we don't, not that we know of, have Palpatine behind the scenes making things happen just yet, or is he? The fact that this also opens the door for Mace to be on the council, because this is part of what is the problem later, right? And how, again, it's that the whole rigidness of the way things are handled later once Anakin is grown up, that leads to their downfall. It's really, really interesting. It's like, if it isn't Palpatine behind the scenes at all, it sure was a great way for things to fall right into his hands.
Well, that's like, I feel a lot of what Palpatine does is not necessarily manipulate things, but take advantage of the things that are already there. And Mace is one of those people that once he's on the Jedi Council, it's like, oh, I can use that.
Exactly. Yeah, he sees for what may be seen as strength, or what may be seen as like, this is a prominent member of the council, and goes, yes, but notice that they do this. That can be used against them.
All right. I don't have much on the second episode. I had seen someone online mention, like, of the 3 Dooku episodes, like the first 2 were okay. Like, they were interesting. I found they repeated a lot of themes. I thought you were saying that the second one was subtle. I felt it was a little heavy-handed. With the so I agree with you. Like, it's a good point you bring up about the Jedi not helping, and
that, you're right. That was a little a lot. But yeah, I just thought it was effective in the way that it was like, see how seeing this over and over and over again is gonna get you to the point of no return.
Exactly.
I liked that.
I think
there were moments.
I think if we didn't have that end part where he's talking to the prisoner and just left it where they're in the woods, because he literally just reiterates the same thing when he's talking to the prisoner directly. I'm like, we didn't need that part.
Yeah.
You're right. We didn't.
And
We see it.
Again, it goes back to that whole thing. Like, he's literally, what we're getting beaten into our heads is the whole, you're seeing what's going to start in the prequels, right? You know, the beginning of the end, so to speak, for the Jedi Council and that way of living. And just as well, you know, you see why he became a separatist. So yeah, I think it's all interesting, but yeah, it did repeat the themes a little too much. Like I said, I think having another senator, and I get it, you want to know why he is this way, but having another senator in another situation like this was almost too repetitive. A little bit of a different situation, I think, would have worked a little better. But yeah, it is
Fair
what
enough.
it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's like they're minor quibbles. It's not like it was a hour-long show. It was 15 minutes.
15
I think
minutes.
It was actually 13 minutes if you take out the 2 minutes of credits, and it's like
Holy goodness, God!
like
you're
that. And it's like one of those like, okay,
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people. A lot of continuity issues that like this show brought up. I think most of them were with Ahsoka, so we'll kind of save that talk for when we talk about Ahsoka.
Yeah,
But
they
our
kind of took that novel and went, "Thank you," put it in the dumpster.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah,
Much
so-
to a lot of people are upset by that. And
lot of
I didn't know about that much until afterwards, and then when I found out why, I was like, I understand now. Okay.
Yeah, but like in the Dooku one, our friend Connor had mentioned that he thinks it contradicts Master and Apprentice, and I personally don't know if it even does.
Yeah.
Because Master and Apprentice was Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And we don't get Obi-Wan at all in this series.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
And like it may have contradicted a line or two, like throwback line, but I don't think like there's any major contradictions.
The only one that I can think of, and I don't remember I would need to know like what he say. I need to look at what he said and like specifics of what it contradicted, but it might have been that Obi-Wan said he had like a conversation with Dooku, and like for some reason Dooku's like, oh, that Obi-Wan kid, like I want to meet him. Maybe that's it. And I'm vaguely remembering that they had.
I wonder
like Obi-Wan
because
is talking about a conversation between him and Dooku, and I don't remember if that's true.
I thought in episode 2 they had just met. And that was the whole point of this comment in the episode where he's like, I'd like to meet him. And it was the kind of one of those where Anakin never met Grievous. And so we have this weird exchange where they never meet each other the entire Clone Wars series because you need to have that line make sense in Revenge of the Sith. I think I felt there was kind of like, we're going to throw this little heavy-handed comment in here to show you that they never met each other. And I don't remember if they did in any of the books. I guess
I don't know.
Dooku Jedi Lost also has the potential of being contradicted here. But again, nothing major. Like this story, they were so short and practically inconsequential, like in timeline wise. It's not unlike the third episode, which is like you're hitting major plot points here. The first two are like one of those like short stories that you could stick into the life, and it doesn't contradict anything and it doesn't enhance anything. It just kind of adds to the overall flavor.
Yeah. And then, the third one is intense.
It was easily the best of the three.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
I found it funny. So you have the Tales of the Jedi, kind of, I don't know what they're called, when literally the words of the Tales of the Jedi come up. The opening
card.
Yeah, the opening card. Thank you. When the opening card comes up, it was after Dooku deleted the records of Kamino and then had some conversation, and then the music plays, and I'm like, wow, that was a really short episode. I like legit
Right,
thought
exactly.
I'm like that's
Yeah.
only like 3 minutes. I'm like, wow, they just literally want an episode where he deleted the Camino records and that was it.
That was it. Yeah.
Oh wait, no, this is the start of the episode. Okay, I'm good now.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I got excited for a second when they're talking about like, oh, there's a Sith Lord, this, that, the other thing. I was
Yeah.
like, are you gonna show me my husband? Am I gonna see Darth Maul? Am I gonna see Darth Maul? And then they really just cheated me. They cheated me so hard. I was like, we just had Sam Witwer in Andor. I want him in this.
Yeah.
No, I was deprived. But you know what? Fine.
Yeah.
I had Yaddle instead. And you know what? Okay. Like, I never had Yaddle content before in my life. So I was like, all right, I'll take this. That's fine. I have enough Maul to get me through my life, I guess. But the Yaddle stuff was fascinating.
Can you imagine if you're a kid watching this for the first time? This is your first Star Wars, right? You start watching this, and then you get the mention of the Sith Lord. You've not seen the Phantom Menace, so you have no idea who they're talking about. Yeah. And then you watch it, and then find out that that's who they were referring to. Would be awesome.
Chills. I just got chills. The thing happened to me right now.
Wait, so Yaddle is the Sith Lord? I'm wondering where
Yes.
there's a Darth
the
Yaddle.
Hair. It's the hair, the fabulous hair, you know.
Oh my god, Yaddle's a secret Sith Lord.
Can you
I wouldn't
imagine?
be mad.
She and Jar Jar actually.
She and Jar Jar.
You know, they're master and apprentice. So
It was actually Dooku versus Yaddle to gain the apprenticeship.
You know what? Yeah. That's why she was there.
But
That's
she
why
even
followed
said,
him.
"It's like
She
I
was like,
understand what you
"He's-
say. I stepped down from
Yeah.
the council. Like we are simpatico."
Yeah, I was very impressed with Yaddle. I was like, girl, give her a red lightsaber. Let's go. Like,
Right,
just
right.
so good. She's so cool.
it'll be cool
I'm
to see
like,
It'll be cool to see the fanfic that happens now with that character, right? I mean, because I'm sure there's been some before, but now people are going to be even more inspired.
Yeah, she has a personality. She has a voice. She spoke, all that good stuff. So now there's reference points that we didn't have before. So Yaddle book, maybe. Let's go.
There you go.
Like,
There you go.
She's so interesting, and I feel like we need more, feminine women like Jedi. We have a few. We have a handful.
Yeah.
But I want more.
Yeah.
We're getting some with High Republic. We're, obviously Ahsoka, which she's not a Jedi, but okay. And at that line, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it another time. But that line where like Ahsoka is a Jedi, I was like, no, she's not.
Right.
Like, yeah,
right.
yeah, yes.
Well,
yes,
that's
but the fun thing is she's not. Like,
I saw
whatever.
somebody bring up. They're like they called this show Tales of the Jedi. Both of the
Not about
characters
Jedi.
are not Jedi.
Yep.
There you go.
Not Jedi.
There you go.
Which
Yeah.
it's why
well,
they're
according
not,
to
though,
Mace, she's
right?
a citizen, though, right? Which is like, ooh,
Citizen
what a line.
Dooku.
Oh.
What
Yeah.
a thing. My
I
goodness
do love, and I don't know because I did not read, real quickly because I know we're not talking about it this week, but I did love that in that Ahsoka episode that her name was Ashla, which was the name originally of the character, right? When they were, I think, Dave was first creating the character. So it's interesting to see that because it's like I didn't know that they would use that name, and I was like, oh, there's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Well,
Yeah, that was
for back in the Star Wars realm, Ashla is the light side.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Right.
So it
Yeah,
was
that's right.
Ashla and
Yeah.
the Bogan. Ashla is the light side, the
there you
Bogan
go.
is the dark side.
That's what
and
it is.
so-
That's what it is. For some reason, I was thinking, because I think Ashla and I think Ashley and I think Ahsoka. I think that's where that all came in. In my head, that's how it all makes sense. So forgive
Well,
me.
I didn't know if they may have named a character as Ashla initially. I
They
have no
might have.
idea because
Yeah.
that's
Been working title.
It's something I
working
remember
name.
hearing about a long time ago, and I'm sure that alone could be a podcast unto itself. I'm sure.
Could absolutely, absolutely.
so. But
Go ahead, Jim.
like I said, the third episode, this one was good, and I liked how we see a lot of it's entirely overlapped with the Phantom Menace, and we kind of see a lot of the things that we knew happened at some point in the continuity, like Dooku deleting the records in Camino. We didn't know when or who. Like, obviously he did it, but we didn't actually know if he did it, and that sort of thing. And his conversation with Palpatine, because it had to all take place around the same time, because you get the clones, which are 10 years later get set up around this time, and the continuity is all kind of mishmashed around the Phantom Menace. And so I really liked that we kind of see a little more during this period. And you're right, Maul would have been like fantastic just to kind of throw him in just a little bit, have him meet Dooku or something like that.
Yo, stop. Yeah, it would have been really cool. It would have been great, but also you only have 15 minutes. I understand.
This one's a
I
little
understand you
longer.
can't make everyone happy.
I guess
Even
this one,
so,
this
you
one
know?
is 15 minutes before credits.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, I get it. You can't always throw me a bone. It's fine. I forgive them. But yeah, I thought it was obviously I loved I'm the Phantom Menace kid, so like obviously I loved this episode for those reasons. But I thought it was really cool to kind of see the difference in Dooku from each episode. There's like a physical difference in how I know he's animated, but these animators did such a brilliant acting job of like showing this character physically be different in each of these 3 episodes. And I don't just mean like his facial hair. I mean how he's carrying himself, his facial expressions.
He's
They
a little
did
more
such a good job.
He's a little more stand up. Like he
Yes.
kind of more commanding of a presence.
That,
Yeah.
but also depressed as hell.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
He's a sad
when
boy.
he's so sad and defeated in that way. Like he feels powerful in one way, and then on the other side, like emotionally, he's mourning his apprentice.
Yeah.
And you see that might be. I mean, I was thinking this as I was watching it. That's kind of the thing that sends him over the edge.
Yes.
Like there's no point of no return after this. Well, between Yaddle and that whole situation and Qui-Gon's death, like that's it. It was interesting to me to kind of see that timeline, that at the point where Qui-Gon passed, he hadn't left yet.
Yeah.
And then Qui-Gon
No,
dies and he does.
He had already left the Order by that point. They didn't mention it in the
Right,
episode, but he
That's
wasn't
what somebody else was telling me too. Yeah.
he wasn't dark side yet, but he had left the
Right,
Order
that's
probably
what I mean.
shortly after
Yeah.
the second episode, if I
Probably.
place it correctly in my head.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, I just mean that he hadn't fully committed to being Palpatine's
Little bitch.
apprentice. Sure, I was gonna say puppet, but
That'll work too.
I like that as well. That's fine.
Yeah. I
But,
love
yeah.
it how it leads up to, well, this is right before Qui-Gon's funeral, right? And
Yes.
and that, he asks, well, are you going to be there? And Dooku is, no, it's like I have to let him go. And that's why he isn't in that scene, right? It's just, it's great. Because you would have thought that he would have been there. But I think if anything, the fact that he has to let him go, I don't know that if he would have gone to the funeral, I think it only would have made him more angry. Because
I
just
agree.
he would have been surrounded by the very reason why, this has all come to pass. It's like these people who will not listen. They're so used to the way things are. And there is a lot of ego there, that nothing can go wrong, and already behind the scenes, this is all falling apart. You just don't know it yet.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it. Like Palpatine is at the funeral, and so we do have it. Like there
you
is a
go.
little bit of time after the scene where he essentially gets anointed as the apprentice. I'm surprised we didn't see him get anointed. Like he
Yeah.
almost did till Yaddle opened the door.
Buddy. Yeah. I had a physical reaction to that moment when the door closed on her.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh no. I was like, that's a way to go. Like,
Right?
that's dark. That is dark for Star Wars.
Right?
Like, we've
Yeah.
seen a lot of, like, horrible things happen to a lot of people. But that's intense. Like, getting crushed by that door. I was like, whoa, buddy. And then she, like, lifts it up, and I was like, it was a different physical reaction. I was very pleased. I was like, wow, like cheering on my couch. I was like, go Yaddle, and then she dies anyway. And I was like, well, that's upsetting. That's disappointing. But okay, at least yeah, it was just like, it was interesting. But yeah, what a way to end that battle. I was like, that's intense as hell. Like, how cool. What a badass Yaddle is that she survived that briefly. And
Yeah.
then, like, like, she fought back hard. And it was clearly, like, reminiscent of the Yoda battle
Yeah.
in Attack of the Clones. but I like this better. I was like, this is so cool. She's so dope, and like the skills are great, and like, yeah, she's really trying to appeal to him. Like, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Exactly.
Like, but you don't have to do this. Like, there's another way.
Mm-hmm.
And she was right, and that's what drives me nuts. It's
That's
like,
it.
she's right. Just listen to her, buddy. We could have saved a lot of people, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Just like brought Sheev Palpatine in. We would have avoided a lot of garbage. You know, Anakin would have his limbs. We'd have a lot of stuff that wouldn't have happened if Dooku had just listened to Yaddle. And I thought it was a cool choice to give her that place, you know?
So I wonder how much Dooku knows at this point. Like, does he know Palpatine is Sidious? Because clearly Sidious is in Sidious disguise for their conversation here. He's also in Sidious disguise, I believe, in Attack of the Clones at the very end of Attack of the Clones. Like, he has to know at that point. But, like, at what point did he find out that, like, Palpatine's the puppet master?
Yeah.
And, like, I found it interesting here is, like, you did not need to kill Qui-Gon. And it's like it's a confrontation where you'd think it would push him the other way, away from Palpatine, because you're right, he is heartbroken over the death of Qui-Gon. It pushed him out of the Order, and it pushed him towards the person who killed Qui-Gon.
Yeah, I don't know, because like there's a lot of talk about trust and how Sidious doesn't trust him yet and hasn't fully taken him under his wing. So my guess would be that he doesn't know, but I could see that. I don't know that for sure.
And there's also just the fact that Dooku at this point, he says it himself, he's gone too far. There's no way to really turn back. And even though Yaddle is pleading with him, he feels there's no saving him. He himself is already considered, I'm lost. Just don't worry about me, sort of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But this, I just think that if Yaddle and Dooku, you know, two people that are respected within this community and amongst the council, if they would have presented what their thoughts were in such a way without looking like they were trying to be treasonous in any way or whatever, I think it would have gone a long way towards them waking up to the problem and actually solving all of this, you know? It's just unfortunate because there were other people there who were willing to listen. And unfortunately that they just, you know, they were either gone because they died in a battle or whatever it might be, to where it didn't happen. So those voices of reason were pushed out of the way, and, you know, everything else was allowed to just go on as the way that it did, the way we saw it play out in the prequels.
We also don't know how Yaddle stepped down from the council. Like, she could have given her explanation, like, I'm stepping down from the council because I'm seeing the disillusionment and, like, I don't agree with where the direction you're going. Or she could have been like, yeah, I don't feel like I belong here. Step down. We'll have this conversation later because this is clearly Qui-Gon's death is important. We'll kind of settle this out later, and obviously never had that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was just the way things played out that it's unfortunate. You know, when there was opportunity for change or for it to be put out there that there is a different way to look at how this is all happening. And I think if anybody, you know, Yoda might have listened first, you know, and been like, oh, I didn't see that. You know, it's like, this is, you know, clearly even though my age and all my wisdom, I can still learn as well too. And hopefully he was not above that.
You hope.
Well, at some point, he learned his lesson.
He was like, I goofed. I better go away forever.
Exactly. Into exile I go. Off in his little ET ship. And
what a dramatic little man.
Oh, and I guess now would be a good time to bring up his speech pattern and the way he talks, right?
Yeah.
Because, I you know, it's funny. It's interesting. A lot of people had that question going into this. It's like, well, we're going to get to hear Yaddle talk. Will they talk the same? And I'm glad they did it. It keeps Yoda unique, right? And also, begs the question: how did this happen? I've heard it could be anything from his
What is
upbringing.
wrong with you?
Shake him. What happened? It's like, and then also one thing, a very interesting thing I heard was because he's been around so long, that might have something to do with the fact that he talks the way he does. And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. I guess after being around for 900 years, I mean, you can do what you want. So,
it could also be so like anybody who speaks another language knows that different languages put words in different orders.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could just be he's translating directly from whatever his native language is.
That's the other thing too, right? It might be that, what is the basic language of the universe may be his second language, and this is the way he talks because it's not his first language, right? Which then again, what is that language? Because we don't know a lot about where he comes from, right? So
Yeah. What an interesting story that would be to have, like, that's why Yoda talks the way he does.
Yeah.
And, like, everyone's, like, no one ever talks about it. No one is ever like, why are you
Nobody mentions
this
it.
way?
Yeah.
It's just accepted. Like, how cool would that be if it was like, you don't have to speak basic perfectly. It's fine.
Exactly.
Like, it's okay. It would be really powerful.
He has a learning disability.
That's what I was going to say.
Sure.
And you know what? Put it in a little golden book. I don't care. Just give me a little bit of that story. I want to know.
Yeah, it's a good point. It is a really good point. Yeah, I like that.
All right. I think I've said mostly everything I wanted to say. I do want to say the animation on this show, we had mentioned it when they were teasing it and when I saw the premiere episode at Celebration. It's still absolutely gorgeous. I saw some people complaining. They're like, it looks like claymation. I'm like, it looks like the Clone Wars evolved. And that's kind of where you're at this. And I really liked it. I think young Qui-Gon looked kind of weird, but I think that was just was just their personal decision and not the art style.
Yeah. They needed to match the accent.
They needed to distract from the fact that it wasn't the same accent. Oh my god. There was a moment, I think it was the beginning of the very last episode, like the last Ahsoka episode, which looked incredible across the board. But you had this sweeping like landscape shot that it started with, and my brain had to remind itself like that's animation. I was like, that's a real field.
Yeah.
It looked beautiful. And like, I'm not saying all like it has to be realistic to be good art, but that was stunning. And just across the board, I thought the art style was that tiger thing looked incredible.
Yeah.
Like in the first episode, I was like, my goodness gracious, they're just really, really good stuff.
For the animation style that we see, obviously, and not everybody takes to it well. For me, I'm so used to it now that I welcome it. It feels like home. Like you're right back into this way of telling these stories. And like you said, when you get to see some of the landscapes and some of these things, it feels so tangible, and I love that. I just absolutely, like you said, gorgeous is the best way to describe what we see on our screens when they tell these tales, and the way Filoni spins it and everything. It's all his brand of magic.
Well, it's all like he wrote it, he directed them. This is 100% Filoni. Mm-hmm. And so, like it or hate it, it is on his shoulders.
My boy Dave, love that man. I want to shake his hand, just be like, "Thanks, bud.
Yeah,
nice hat," and then I move on.
Right.
That's it. What a guy.
All right. So, anything else you want to say?
No, just more. We'd love to see more. Let's see a different Jedi.
I was thinking that exact same thing. I'm like, what if we did the same thing, but with somebody else?
Exactly. With lesser known characters, somebody that you've wanted to see a little bit more about.
I'm glad you agree, Yariel Poof. I'm everyone clearly on board with the.
Yep. You are very into that one, huh?
That's awesome.
I kind of want more Plo Koon content.
Yeah.
I would like some of that. And Shakti. That's who I want to know
Shak
more
Ti would
about.
be fantastic.
I want to know so much more about Shak Ti. She's so interesting and so
Yeah.
cool. And
She's-
those are the two that popped into my head.
These might be a good way to introduce those other characters that we've not seen yet, like the Revens and those type of characters that people don't know yet, that will watch them and fall in love with them, and then they'll be, can we see more of this character? And then you get Knights of the Old Republic, whatever, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Well,
it's a
that's
good testing ground for
like
sure.
the first episode of the Dooku, episode 2 that we got here, it felt a lot like, well, I want to kind of follow this timeline. Like, I don't want to jump in time. I want to see more around here. And so that's a kind of the problem with these short story anthologies. Is like, no, but I want more of this.
Yeah.
And then
Where
like
do
the
I
next
order
episode,
more?
I want more of this. Like I don't like
Yeah.
personally, it's like I want more of whatever we're given, and it's obviously never enough.
Yeah. But yeah, it was very good. I very much enjoyed it. I agree. More please. But yeah, very well done. I ate this in one sitting. Like, I was just like, devoured it. I devoured it.
Yeah.
This morning, actually.
Yeah.
But
Me too.
yeah, I was like, oh, I'll just watch the Dooku episodes. And then I was like, I'm kidding myself. And I watched everything. I was like, that's a lie I made to myself. But yeah, no, very good. Very, very excited about this. And yeah, more would be great.
All right. So Mark, how can people get a hold of you or follow you on the social medias if that's how you want them
Yeah,
to? If
of
you want them
course.
to follow you, find you.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at I am El Diablito, and just guesting on different podcasts. You'll hear me because I love to talk Star Wars.
It was absolutely great that you were on the show. I'm glad that you that we finally lined up our time scales, and we'll definitely have to have you back sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for inviting me
coming
on. I had an awesome time talking with you folks.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. It was lovely. Lovely morning.
It would be awkward. It's like, yeah, thanks for inviting me with that.
thanks.
Yeah, let's not do this again.
Yeah, goodbye. You will not hear from me. Do not reach out. No,
Lose my number.
lose it. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
man.
Lord above.
All right. So with that, you can reach the show through email, Talkin Tauntauns at AIPTcomics.com. You can find us on Twitter at Talkin Tauntauns. You can join our Patreon through AIPTcomics.com and interact with us on Discord. We would love a 5-star review. We'd love any review. We'd love you to share our show with a friend, with an enemy, with your pets. Does your pet have a phone? They can download the show as well. And so I did good. I did not look at you, Nicole, the entire time because I'm
you
like,
did
you're going to
great.
throw me off.
You did awesome. Well done. I'm just going to sit here and be proud. Go ahead.
And with that, we will talk to you next week.